Welcome to another episode of Broncos HQ. I'm your host and team reporter, Elisa Hernandez. Next to the Hall of Famer, back from across the pond, Steve Atwater. Welcome back, Steve.
Thanks, Elisa. We had a wonderful time over.
It is a wonderful time because the Broncos swept their road trip and stand at 4-2 as they get ready to host the New York Giants in Week 7. It's home sweet home. The Broncos are on a 3-game winning streak, and 4 of the next 5 games will be played at Empower Field at Mile High. How much of an advantage is this for the Broncos?
I think it's a huge advantage. For one, you don't have to make any adjustments with the time. You don't have to sleep in or sleep late or get up early. The time is just the same. Also, you're just used to everything. You know, you're in your home environment. You're in your home stadium. You're practicing where you normally practice at. Everything should go well.
Yeah, the Broncos play very well at home. I believe they have the longest active winning streak in the league with 7 straight home wins. I mean, it's very hard to play at Empower Field at Mile High. A big part of it is the altitude, but also Broncos country. How does this help this team as they go into this stretch?
Yeah, well, whenever you have a fan base like Broncos country, you know, a team that travels well, a team that cheers loud when they're supposed to cheer, they're quiet when they're supposed to be quiet, man, it's a huge benefit to you. And I think the players realize that, and man, they've been taking advantage of that the last 7 home games in here. We got to keep it going.
The Broncos went 3-0 in this stretch. Now they enter this matchup against the Red Hot Giants. How do you see this team containing quarterback Jackson Dart and running back Cam Scadaboo?
Well, both of those guys have been playing really well here last few games, and they're all over social media. You know, they got player of the game, and they were interviewed after the game, ripping off shirts. So they have quite a bit of confidence.
Yeah.
And sometimes those teams can be some of the scariest teams to play against because you never know which team is going to show up. Is it going to be the great team, the team who played well, or is it going to be the poor team? But you got to prepare for them being the best that they've been all year. And we can't be suckered in to thinking that they're not going to come out and play as well as they played the last few games.
Yeah, Cam Scadaboo, just to run through some of his numbers, 82 carries, 338 rush yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, tied for 3rd in the NFL so far this season. 3 of his 5 rushing touchdowns came in that win against the Eagles. This defense is going to have its hands full, but I feel like they've gone up against some pretty good running backs over the last few weeks, and they've been able to just completely take them out of the game.
Yeah, and, you know, they've played well defensively in every phase. You know, they've gotten a ton of sacks. They're able to stop the run. They're able to hold the opposing team's top receivers to, minimal yardage. So they've done everything that they can do on the defensive side of the ball. And so we're hoping that they'll be able to do that same thing this week.
You look at the numbers that this defense put up last week. They were just phenomenal. -10 net pass yards allowed, 9 sacks, 15 QB hits. I mean, they were just having a field day. Jonathan Cooper getting 2 of those sacks in that game. How impressed are you with this defense, especially when you look at the keys to the game and what they're able to do to secure a win?
Yeah, super impressed. I mean, I think anybody who looks at them and looks at the stats and look at the passion that they play with, they have to be impressed with this team. Look, the guys are showing up week in, week out, regardless of who we're playing against, former Super Bowl champions, other teams who may not have played so well last year. They're showing up each and every week and letting it all hang out on the field, letting their play speak for itself.
Well, the keys to the game, you talked about it over the last few weeks, is just clean football, complementary, making sure that you're able to sustain drives and stop the run. What's the biggest key out of those that you feel will help unlock a win?
Well, I think we still got to continue to play, like I said, clean football and not have a ton of penalties. We reduced our number of penalties. We had 6, and that's the lowest amount we've had, but we only had 37 yards of penalties this last game, and that's a step in the right direction. But we also, offensively, we got to make sure that we have more sustained drives to keep that defense off the field. I know that, we can lean on them, but we don't want to lean on them too much and get a little bit complacent and not do our job to the best of our ability. So the offense got to make sure that they're at their peak playing ability as well.
Well, the Broncos defense leads the league with 30 sacks so far this season, outside linebacker Nik Bonitto being a big contributor. I caught up with him after practice to talk about their upcoming matchup, the advantage of playing at home, and more. After a week in London and improving to 4-2 on the season, how happy are you to be back here in Denver getting ready to host the Giants?
I'm really excited. I mean, it feels like it's been forever since that Monday night game with us going to Philly, then being out in London so long. So I'm not going to speak for myself only, but probably everybody on the team. We are ready to go back out there in front of the fans and show out. So.
The Giants have seen a surge in their offense. How do you guys look to contain them?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of it is just they play so hard on the offensive side of the ball. They're always trying to get extra, people to the ball and push the piles and stuff like that, or they're just playing really hard when it comes to blocking and running the football. So we're definitely going to have to bring our A game and, be real physical with them.
You guys have had a lot of success against the run. You guys have faced some tough running backs. When you look at the run game the Giants have put together, how do you look to stop them?
Yeah, I think the main key is, stopping the two guys in the backfield. I mean, obviously 44 is a great player, but they also have two other really good backs. And then obviously Jackson Dart, with the stuff that he does with his legs, can really hurt you. So just making sure that we're bottling them up and not letting them get free is going to be big.
I know you guys have the mentality of taking it one game at a time, but how important is this stretch? 4 of the next 5 games are here at home.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, Coach made it an emphasis too. Making sure that we're taking care of business at home. I mean, this is a big stretch where we can really go on a run. So, just making sure that we're showing out in front of the fans and getting those dubs is going to be very important.
You lead the NFL in sacks and QB pressure so far this year. What's been the biggest change from last season to this season that you feel has elevated your game?
I would just say film study. Just looking at last year and seeing areas that I can get better at. And then, also just, having the guys in the locker room and the guys in my group just being able to push me every day and continuously trying to get me better, and even just working with the scout team O-line, just continuously trying to help them get me better. So,
your teammate Jonathan Cooper was named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, and this is the first time in team history that 2 Broncos got that honor in back-to-back weeks. How special is this duo, and how do you guys push each other?
I mean, it's real special, man. It's just been something that's been in the works for so long now. I mean, when I first came in, he's always been a worker, but just had to wait his turn and kind of, just wait for his opportunity. And, now we're just seeing, the fruits of his labor of, just him working, as long as he's been here. And even myself, just continuously trying to push each other every week. And it's showing right now on the field. So,
how much fun is it to play in this defense?
Real fun. I mean, VJ, especially I like to think, me and Cooper are his babies. He just lets us, go free off the edge, just rush and just try to go make plays and do what we do. So, I'm appreciative of him, the calls that he makes and the game plans and stuff like that.
This weekend is also Alumni Weekend and the 10th anniversary of Super Bowl 50. The late Super Bowl 50 champion and 5-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Demaryius Thomas will be inducted to the Denver Broncos Ring of Fame. How much are you looking forward to this weekend?
Man, that weekend is going to be a great weekend with all 3 of those events here with everybody in town. First off, the Alumni Weekend, you get a chance to see all the different alumni from all the different eras that played, and you get a chance to hang out and do cool stuff and learn things about the different guys. And then you also got the 10-year anniversary from the Super Bowl 50 team.
Yeah.
And I remember when we had our first anniversary, there were guys that I hadn't seen since we played.
Wow.
Because, the guys just kind of go their separate ways. You have a group of guys that stick together, but some guys, go off to themselves. So that'll be a treat for a lot of the players to see some of the guys that hadn't seen in a while. And then, obviously, DT getting into the Ring of Fame is huge. Everybody will be there to support that, and I'm looking forward to, seeing his mom and the rest of his family just really enjoy the love that we give to DT.
Demaryius Thomas means so much to Broncos country. There are still players on this current team that played with him and have been sharing memories with their current teammates about how special he was. How do you see the emotions of that day carrying over to the teammates that will be here celebrating not only Super Bowl 50, but the legacy of Demaryius Thomas?
Yeah, I think Demaryius Thomas just had a ton of respect from, pretty much everybody whose life he touched. I got a chance to know Demaryius, and he's just a great person on and off the field. Not only was he a great football player, but the type of man that he was, type of person he was in the community, with the kids, everybody, it was awesome. So I think it's going to give these guys an extra boost to go out there and play even harder against this New York Giants football team.
Well, before we get out of here, it's time for our Hall of Famer to pick the dark horse of the game, the player he feels will have an impact in Week 7. So, Steve, who is it this week?
This week, we're going with Evan Ingram. Numero uno. We saw the last tight end to play against the New York Giants and Dallas Goedert, the Philadelphia Eagles. He had over 100 yards receiving. And I'm hoping that the Broncos can find something that the Eagles did and take advantage of with Evan Ingram, because Evan Ingram, I think, is a little bit faster, a little bit shiftier than Dallas Goedert is. Both great tight ends, though. And I think Evan Ingram is going to have a great game.
Well, there you have it, Broncos country. That will do it for this edition of Broncos HQ. I'm your host and team reporter, Elisa Hernandez, next to the Hall of Famer, Steve Atwater. A reminder that kickoff versus the Giants is at 2:05 p.m. Mountain Time at Empower Field at Mile High. We will see you there.